Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 138 of Fine Music. The numbers go up and the ideas seem to do the same thing too. Like Fred's got something interesting for us all. Go ahead, Fred.
Well, I'm coming at it, like I said, I'm coming out of left field with a look at some of Tony Bennett's albums. He's gotten a lot of press because of his duets with Lady Gaga and other duet albums, but without all the pizzazz, Tony Bennett remains a great American singer, I feel. If you want to start with something, I would say go with the Essential Tony Bennett, a 2 CD set that covers his career from 1951 to 2001, from his first singles like Because of You. It's a gem that shows off his personal voice and his emotion and the way he could carry a message of a song. He always seems to handle it with care. But another great CD is Tony Bennett Jazz. Tony Bennett loved jazz, but his record company, Columbia Records, and his producers were always trying to push him into the pop element. And he fought against it, but with several albums, like Basie Swings, or he played with drummers on some albums. Well, this set covers his jazz career, his early jazz career, 1954 to 67. It has Count Basie on it, Ron Carter, Zoom Sims, Herbie Hancock, Herbie Mann, Stan Getz on a unreleased cut of Danny Boy, the great Elvin Jones on drums. He played with tremendous enthusiasm and love for the music and the players. They just work well together. Then there's the album Bennett Berlin. It's 12 Irving Berlin songs, and it features Dexter Gordon on saxophone on a couple of cuts, which he brings a very warm sound to a version of Irving's White Christmas. Now you would think, geez, how many times do you have to listen to White Christmas? But the way this is delivered by Bennett and the saxophone playing of Gordon, it's a year-round classic that I'm never sick of. Dizzy Gillespie's all right on a couple of cuts with trumpet, and George Benson shows up on a guitar playing Cheek to Cheek. Then in 1992, he came out with a tribute album, a homage to Frank Sinatra, called Perfectly Frank. These are 24 tunes, and at first you wonder, who could outdo Frank with his songs? But Bennett doesn't try to outdo him. He just handles each one with care and consideration. And it's in a trio setting with Frank Sharon Trio, group that he's worked with most of his career. It's intimate, and a lot of reviewers I saw when this album came out called it the perfect album, because he doesn't try to outdo Sinatra. He does his best as Bennett with this album. And another great jazz album is a recording with Bill Evans. He did 2 albums, Together and Together Again, in 75 and 76. And this came out reissued on CD, and then also 40 years later on 4 vinyl albums with a lot of alternative cuts and unreleased cuts. At first, I think a lot of people were wondering how in the world would this work? They're two people on their own plane, their own musical plane, and very different, but the albums work extremely well, and it's quite an experience to listen to. It's out of left field, like I said, but it's done with quite amazing care and improvising. It's a bit spontaneous, and Bennett handles the vocals extremely well. And of course, Bill Evans is just extraordinary on piano. Another duet album that came out in 2002 is Wonderful World, a duet album with K.D. Lang. And it's a great matchup, I felt. Singer Lang has just the right touch. She's a great torch singer, it turned out. And they have the right amount of complementing each other and the yearning in their vocals to really make these songs work out. It's a homage to Louis Armstrong and is produced by T-Bone Burnett. And they're backed up by a small group quartet. Then in 2015, there's the album The Silver Lining came out. Now, this came out, probably was overshadowed because the year before he did his first duet album with Lady Gaga. And I'm sure her fans picked up on those albums, but didn't pick up on this. He's at 89 years old and still at the top of his game in this recording. He's skillful, and his voice just comes out sparkling, and he has that love for his music. And with his duets with Charlotte, he kind of reminiscing of the Bill Evans duet albums he did. And Bill has an understanding of how to play great piano, of course, because he's well known in the jazz field. His arrangements give Bennett plenty of room. His wife even shows up playing a second piano. Renee Rosenz is on a piano on a few cuts. So there's two pianos backing him up, and a bass and drums. Great arrangements, sparse and well placed. Both players feel very comfortable with each other. The upbeat numbers roll out with joy. And he's, like I said, Bennett at 89 is at the top of his game, at the top of his powers. And it's rich and wonderful interplay between the both of them. Highly recommend it.
Oh, very good.
I have a question that can only be asked by someone utterly naive. That's me. These, for lack of a better term, singers, they have signature songs. What is Tony Bennett's signature song?
Well, his company pushed him for a lot of pop hits. I mean, his biggest well-known song is I Left My Heart in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And he got his career started, I think, with Because of You and the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. A lot of Columbia, including Sinatra, got stuck with Mitch Miller as their A&R or producer. And he just continually tried to push them into pop stuff. But Bennett fought back and did a number of great albums against the will of the record company.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up leaving Columbia for a while because they had him singing Beatle tunes and things like that, popular tunes of the 60s. And he left, and then he was on a small label, and he and Bill Evans did those duet albums, which brought him back into the lives of the jazz lovers, and realized, this guy's still got the chops. It was years later that Columbia re-signed him again, and his son helped him revitalize his career with a popular audience.
Yeah, and he's also appeared
Yeah,
in
he
films.
was on MTV,
Yeah,
and he,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, didn't he do an MTV?
he had a video with Stepping Out with My Baby.
Okay.
See, there you go.
Then
Yeah.
he did the duets albums, and he did the 2 albums with Lady Gaga, which weren't bad, but I thought the albums that I presented were a lot better.
Yeah. Now I assume you've seen the 60 Minutes bit. They did a clip on him and Lady Gaga on the show that he did when he couldn't.
Yeah, I
even
saw the
pronounce
whole
his wife's
show was
name.
on CBS. The whole show, or good portion of it, was very moving.
Yeah. He couldn't remember his wife's name, but he could still sing all the songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
music. The power
Lady
of
Gaga
music.
has pipes, right? I mean, she's
he
got a
still
powerful
could
voice.
sing well, but yeah.
With Tony Bennett, you're saying he's singing as well as ever.
Well, not anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's unfortunately in worse shape than he was
Yeah.
2 years ago.
He's had a 70-year career. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very, very few can say that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Fred, for educating some of the public out there that didn't know. And I left my heart in San Francisco. Yeah, that's about all I knew of Tony Bennett. I even learned something from Murray here that he collaborated with some other people. Well, Lady Gaga, and you were mentioning some other people. So I guess I have to investigate that. But the best place to start sounds like you said the Essentials, right?
Yeah, there's
That's the one to go for.
2-record set, a 2 CD set. The Essential Tony Bennett.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Fred.